Hello, this is Bob Moog's famous ladder filter, and I'm going to build one of those today, hopefully, and put it into my modular system. Now, there's a website called usynth.com, and what he's basically done, he's got quite a few of these old designs and kind of updated them. So I was looking at that circuit and I thought, I could build that, but you know, somebody's already done the hard work and sort of advanced it a little. So all his circuits and designs are free on his website. You can download them and just build them at home, which I think is amazing. Now this is the updated circuit by Usynth, and I'm going to make that and possibly add a couple of little extras myself into it. Now what he's also done is he's done all the hard work for you. He's even given you the design of the circuit board and a component layout of all the components to go onto the board when you've made the board. Now, I understand that a lot of people might not have access to etching their own circuit boards. You can etch them, you can use a CNC machine and route them out, but not everybody's got this. So the way I'm going to try and build this today is put it onto a breadboard and see if that works. And if it does, then transfer it over to one of these. Now, these boards are supposedly a copy of your breadboard. So then, if that works, I can take the components off, drop them onto here, and just solder them up and make them work. But I'm not sure if that's going to be the tidiest way of doing it. I want to try and stick as close to that circuit diagram without having to make that circuit board. So you can buy these little blank boards, and what you do is you place all your components in there, flip it over, and connect them exactly as you see on the screen there. That way you don't have to make a circuit board. You can get them a little bit bigger. I'll probably build it onto this one actually because there's a bit more space. But you can get really sort of technical and go mad, and all your wiring basically is on the back. You've got your components on one side and you do all your wiring on the back. Here's hundreds and hundreds of tiny little wires everywhere. They're small for a reason. There's so many wires on here. If I did it in standard wire like this would be about 1 centimetre thick. So I've used very fine wire on there. But basically, you look at that, you place the components onto the board, exactly as you see, like so, flip it over, and then connect them, exactly as you see there. So that way, you can make any of these circuits without having to have a circuit board made especially for you, or without having to have a CNC machine to cut one out, or without having to go through all the mess of acid etching and things. So without further ado, thanks to Usynth, I think I've just mentioned him, but he's done all this for you. So all the hard work's done. Brilliant. So I'm going to make the filter clone for the Mini Moog. Let's go. The ladder piece there. Okay. So it looks like a ladder on the back. Bit messy here, but it should work, I guess. And every time I put a component in and actually connect it to something else, I sort of draw around it with a pen and fill in the lines so I know that's connected to whatever, and so on and so forth. That way I can keep track of what I'm doing, because as I'm going along, some of the components, like this capacitor and things, they're not where they should be on there. You know, I've moved them to other little spaces, but they're still, the connections are still correct. It's just I've kind of repositioned a few little bits and pieces, and yeah, I'm changing a few little things as I'm going along, some slightly different ideas. So I'll see how it all turns out, hopefully. Oh, next piece. So the setup of your panel, you've got to think about. So this will be the cutoff, control level 1, emphasis, in 1 and in 2, in 1 and in 2 and output, control 1, control 2 and 1 volt per octave there. Now that looks nice and neat. Agreed, absolutely. That's how it's worked out on the Usynth website. It looks very good. However, making things like this is my sort of guide, as in if I plug in a 1/4 inch jack and then there's the cable coming off, that's the sort of height it's going to stand off. So if I just place one of those there, for example, I've got one jack in there and one jack in there, then the buttons are not easy to get to. I should really film this from the side so you can see what I mean. It would work fine if it was a Euro rack, because they use the little 1/4 millimeter jack, so they don't sort of stand out as much as that. So before I go ahead and do any drilling, I'm just going to play around and move things around until I can kind of get a feel for how this is going to work. Maybe if I use the emphasis up there, moved the cutoff to the left, and I could make so that all my jack plugs are going to go mainly in on the left and out on the right. That way I could, I guess, do something like this, and that may be a little bit neater because I'll be able to get my hands in between the jacks that are sticking out. I could even add a second output, or even make two of the control level inputs. You've only got one of them, but I could make two control level inputs, so I've got two of them that are controllable, and this one's the voltage 1 volt per octave out there. So I could sort of build it that way maybe, and have just a little bit more control. So yeah, that looks good. I think I'm going to design it around that sort of pattern. What I've done is I've chopped this down a little bit, and I'm actually going to mount it that way on instead. Yeah, smaller, neater, put the wiring underneath it, and that's just a more compact panel. So there we go, it's fitted in now, looks very nice and almost lined up like my other panels. Still over by a little millimetre, but that's my OCD, I think. Now then, here we go. Here's just a nice sound. Now, I went through all the instructions and went through all the procedure of setting this up, and I think I kind of got everything about right. I'm not too sure. It seems to be doing something anyway. I'm not always 100% sure what I'm doing on this thing anyway. The whole point of this is like a palette of madness, and you just sort of plug things in and away you go until suddenly a beautiful sound arises, or an awful sound, whichever. Now then, let me try and make some tunes with this. Oh, one thing I must say, this is all on the Usynth website. Okay, I've added a few little extras to that, but the main piece, the ladder filter and things, it's all on the Usynth website, and you can go on there and it's got all the instruction manuals on how to build it. It's even got the templates for the panels and things. And yeah, thanks to Usynth, big thumbs up. There's lots of other things on there that I've definitely got to build to put into this thing. It would have taken me a week to work out that circuit and make it, but on the YouthSynth website, I'm on my second day now, so brilliant, thumbs up, thank you very much for putting all that information on the internet. Now then, moving along, let's make some noise. Oh, forgotten one more thing, BC 547s. Now you need 6 of them to go in here, and if you're going to build one, I wouldn't suggest buying 6 of them. There's no point, because one important factor that you've got to do when you're building a ladder filter is match pairs of transistors. So I actually just bought 20 of them, and I went through them with my meter and things, and I picked out 2 sets of 3 that were matched. So best to do that. Don't buy 6, buy 20 or 26, and just, I mean, they're cheap, they're not expensive, and just match up 2s. You need 3 sets of 2s for this. But yeah, that's really quite important. But anyway, I'm going to move along, and I'm just going to make a noise now. So I'll probably get carried away, so I'll take the opportunity to say thank you very much for watching, and obviously there's going to be more videos on the way very soon. So I'm just going to have fun now for a bit. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.